Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Jason. I'm a channeler and Course in Miracles student, and I'd like to come on today to share some things that I've been thinking about and do some channeling, and also to thank you very much for listening. So first of all, I want to talk about rush hour traffic. So rush hour trains, and how there's this kind of herd mentality that comes over everyone in rush hour, and their kind of humanity is lost. People who could be normally very, very good people, very friendly, very nice people, turn into kind of soldiers of fortune. And I found that for me, rush hour has been a very, very good lesson for forgiveness practice. And so I'm not saying that I'm perfect at it. It's a lesson. It's a lesson I'm still learning. But so yesterday is it yesterday or 2 days ago, I was on the train. It was rush hour, and my stop was coming up, and I noticed that there was this man behind me, and he looked like he was kind of shaking back and forth. He really wanted to get off the train, in the next stop. And so I was kind of in his way, and I could sense that energy from him, like, you're in my way, get out of my way. And then the doors opened, and I kind of walked out, and then he kind of brushed past me and kind of got right in front of me, and he kind of had this kind of anger about him, and that got me kind of confused, and I was kind of caught up with this energy, like, oh, I'm supposed to rush, and so I started rushing, and and so it's so much energy, and it's so easy to be caught up in that energy. And so that's my practice, is to just kind of be able to, I'm not perfect at it, but to be able to, in those situations, just to kind of take a step back and just, breathe and let everything go, let everyone go. Maybe take a seat on a bench and wait for everyone to go, and then go, for example. And so, everyone's rushing home, because, and now so a lot of times, so for example, in Japan, there is, people here work very, very hard, especially what they're called the salarymen, which are kind of corporate workers, and it is a very cutthroat kind of life, and it's a very hard life that they are living. And so I imagine it must be very hard to come home, to not have much time at home either. They probably come home around 7 or 8 or 9, and they have a few hours to relax, and they have to go to bed. Then they have to wake up really, really early the next day and go to work, and they usually have a lot of overtime, and sometimes it's not paid. And so it's a very difficult life, and there's so much competition, and sometimes their bosses can be very strict. And so I understand. And so and I thought too for myself, like, that if I was getting caught up in that rush hour feeling, that also means that I've been making life choices. I've been making scheduling choices with my life that are too much, and I need to step back. I need to give myself more time. I need to work less, basically. And that is kind of against everything that our society is about. Work less. Why work less? Work more. When you can work more, you can make more money. And so that's what I'm kind of fighting against. But anyway, so my point is that everyone's rushing and going crazy, and just you feel this energy of rushing, and everyone's kind of, there's a sense of anger too, and it's a very peaceful country, so it's just like around rush hour where everything just goes nuts and everything's out the window and people are pushing and shoving, and it's just mayhem. But I was walking up the steps, and I saw this young couple, and they were just holding hands, and they're walking, and they're talking real slow, and I thought, that's the key. And I kind of slowed down too, and I thought, that's the key. They're in love, so they have nowhere to go because they're already there. They're already where they need to be because they're in love. And that was the key. That's the point. And I thought, so for myself as well, like, I just have to be in love. And so this is not just the romantic love, but just love of everything, of everyone around you, all the people rushing. Just, I love you. I love all of you. This is, I'm here, and we're all here, and this is great. And so I was there for, I would say not very long, but I was there for maybe about 30 minutes, just like in love, just seeing this couple. I was like, oh yeah, I'm in love as well. I'm in love with this whole world. And I thought they were such a wonderful teacher at that moment. They were teaching me that that's all we need to do. And I think the idea is that if one person, so if I just start in rush hour, if I just start just being in love, then I can influence, I could be a teacher in a sense of those rush hours, and just being in love will infect everyone else, just like that couple did. And so that was my realization. And one other thing that just popped up into my mind recently is that when I was a kid, I used to read a lot of plays. I used to be really interested in reading plays and novels. And one thing that I would always read about a lot of the novelists, and they would always say when they were interviewed that they would talk about their fear of death, that they're so afraid of death, and that's what influences their art. And I've always thought, like, throughout my life, even then when I was, in high school, and now when I'm, middle-aged, I've never been afraid of death. Like, I mean, it's going to happen, right? It's going to happen to everyone, It's just like life, So it's never been something that was a fearful thing for me. And I always wondered, like, how could you be afraid of death? Like, anyway, so... And then I realized that, because we have an ego, right? We have an ego, and we also have a spirit. And the ego is kind of our guide for life and death situations, and our ego is here to kind of help us in this kind of third dimension rising world. But when our body goes, the ego goes as well. So it's like our soul is not afraid of death, but the ego is afraid of death. And so if you live in the ego mind, then you're going to be afraid of death. And so that finally explained it to me. That's what they're talking about. So of course, if you believe that this is the end, if you are thinking from an ego, mind frame, then a lot of these, what were they called? Well, I can't think of the word now. It's a very easy word. But the people that for atheists, for example, or agnostics, if you're thinking from an egoistic standpoint, then it's true. Yeah, the ego's gonna die. That's it. It's gonna die with the body. But if you realize that you're not an ego and you're not a body, that you are your spirit, your soul connected with God, then you realize, it's just, I will be, for example, death as we know it is just leaving this body, leaving this, this suit, this amazing suit that allows us to experience all these wonderful things in this third dimension. And the ego too will also be going, and the ego is something that helps us out in dangerous situations, the fight or flight kind of things. And sometimes in our society, or most of the time, we've been trained to think from our ego. We've received like an ego education, egoic education, and so we are kind of trained to think from the ego. But so that kind of cleared that up for me. And I just want to read a quick short passage from the Course in Miracles, and then I'll go into a channeling. So this passage is from The Question of Payment. It's from page 23 on the practice of psychotherapy at the end of the book. And so here we go. Please ignore the sound of the bus in the background. Here we go. It has well been said that to him who hath shall be given. Because he has, he can give. And because he gives, he shall be given. This is the law of God and not of the world. So it is with God's healers. They give because they have heard his word and understood it. All that they need will thus be given them. But they will lose this understanding unless they remember that all that they have comes only from God. If they believe that they need anything from a brother, they will recognize him as a brother no longer. And if they do this, a light goes out, even in heaven. Where God's Son turns against himself, he can look only upon darkness. He has himself denied the light and cannot see. So I thought that was a wonderful little passage. And I'd like to call in my guides. This morning I had been channeling the three sisters of the Pleiades. I'm not sure if they're coming through now, but we shall see. So here we go. Greetings, we are Isis, and we are here to give you a message of love and of peace, which are the only messages that are true and that are truly available to you to truly experience deep in your heart. Those are the only experiences that you can truly experience if you want to experience true experiences. We are Isis, and we are here to give you this message of love and of peace, and that everything on your world is moving at the most perfect space and pace imaginable. It is all for you. It is all moving in the direction that you need it to go. And you need to understand this, and you need to let go and understand that everything is working, everything is moving, and everything is going, and you are in the most perfect place imaginable. Not in the future, not in the past, but right now, you're in the most perfect place imaginable, wherever you are, all over the world, whether it be raining, whether it be snowing, whether it be sleeting, whether it not be 32 degrees and you're sweating, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, you're in the most perfect place imaginable at this moment for you. Every experience that you are experiencing is for you. It is an experience that you have chosen to experience. And know that these experiences sometimes can be too intense. And know that you can step out of these experiences when you need to. If that 32-degree weather is too much for you, step out. Step out into spacelessness and timelessness. And then you can step back in. This is what these experiences are for you to experience things that you would not be able to experience anywhere else or any other time or any other space. You are here now to experience everything that is happening all the time for you. And the pace is quickening and speeding up. It is like watching 20,000 movies at the same time. What an experience, what a thrill, what a ride you are all on. And we would say, when you're on this ride, don't worry. If it gets too much, you can take a step off the ride anytime. You can leave the theme park anytime. And this, we're not talking about death. You can leave the theme park, walk off just for a little bit and come back on. Go out, get a snack, get some popcorn, get some churros, whatever it is you like, and then come back. The movie will still be going on. And the movie is the movie of all of your lives, all of your projections, all of you, all at once, from not just this life, but from many, 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 many other lives, parallel lives and past lives and future lives. They're all coming together at this moment for you, for all of you to experience. And this is all for you. And this is something that is very, very special, a very special experience, something that will be written down in the history books, but they won't be any books per se, but they will be in what you perceive of the history books. It will be written down in the history, your experiences. You are the pioneers on this time, in this time frame, and people from generations and generations will look up to all of you for the work that you have been doing to forge these new paths into this pathless place, into this new space, a new time, a new place where you've never been before, and very, very few people on your universe, in your source world, have ever been. This is new territory for all of you, and you are creating it. You are so amazing. Look how amazing you are. And look at this being before you, worrying about rush hour, when he is creating a new world. This is what, when we look down on you as humans, not looking down on you, but when we look and we see you as the amazing creators that you are, and then we see you worrying about rush hour, we just have to laugh. And this is the beauty of you in your experiences now, because you're able to experience that. You're able to create a world, and then you're able to get a little bit upset about rush hour. You can create whatever you want, but you're creating rush hour. Forgive us for laughing, but you are such beautiful and amazing creatures, and you have such a great sense of humor. You can create whatever you want, and you're creating rush hour. And this is the beauty of it, yes. And these creations that you're creating are allowing you to have such amazing experiences. And from our experience, we would create in a different way, but we're not down on the ground like you are, and so we don't know for sure. You are in a very, very intense place, a very, very intense time, and so creating Rushhour might be the most important thing at this time for you, because only you know. You are creating this path, and we are just trying to help you, to guide you, and we don't know exactly where this path leads. Only you do. But we do know, we do know exactly where this path leads. It leads to love, and it leads to peace. But we don't know in what shape that will take. And that is your creation, and that is what you are creating here. And this is why people from all over the universe, and also some other universes, are coming down here to see what's going on, because they know what the end result will be, but they don't know what it's going to look like. And they know how creative and how much of a sense of humor all of you have, and they are just, this is the most wonderful show on the planet. And know that you are all moving towards peace and towards love and towards beauty, and that's what all of this is leading towards. Know that there's nothing to worry about. But the pathway that you take will be using your own creativity and your own amazing sense of humor. So we would say for all of you that just take a step back sometimes and enjoy the show. And remember that you are loved by so many people and so many beings, and the beings all over the universe are sending their love, and they see you, and they are so amazed at your amazing work every day. All right. Yes. So Isis is laughing at my creation of a Rushhour. One thing I wanted to say about the Rushhour too is that everything that we create, everything that we experience, we create. So I was creating that man behind me, that kind of angry man. So that was part of my creation. That is me. He was me, and I was me in front of him, and I was creating, and that couple as well. So, I gotta kind of create a little bit more clearly. I would rather just create that couple and just have that peaceful feeling. But yes. So anyway, thank you very much, guys. By the way, if you are interested in reading a book about dragons, or a book about Hathors teaching you how to sing, I have both books down below in links. And anyway, so cheers, everyone. Thank you for listening.